Look closely at this coin. Not tomorrow, not later, right now. Because what I'm about to tell you could change the way you look at every single quarter in your pocket. Most people spend this coin without thinking twice. But a very small number of people, have pulled one out of circulation and discovered something shocking. And here's the part that bothers me. You might have already had one and let it go. Set up, build curiosity. This is a 1982 Washington quarter. Nothing special at first glance, right? Same familiar face, same design, same size. But 1982 was not just another year. Something changed behind the scenes, something most people never noticed. And because of that change, a small number of these coins became different. Not rare in the obvious way. Rare in the kind of way that slips through your fingers without you even noticing. Curiosity Loop 1. What changed? Here's the strange part. Before 1982, coins were made with a different process. The U.S. Mint made a decision that affected how coins were produced, and more importantly, how collectors would see them years later. And that decision created a hidden divide. Two types of coins that look almost identical, but one could be worth far more than the other. Story, relatable moment. Let me stop you right there. Because most 1982 quarters are still only worth 25 cents. Yes, just face value. So what makes the difference? That's where things get interesting. Curiosity Loop 2, the key difference. In 1982, the U.S. Mint stopped including something very important with their coins. Mint sets. For years, collectors relied on official mint sets to get high-quality coins. That means no easy way to get pristine coins from that year. So today, finding a 1982 quarter in perfect condition? That's much harder than you think. And harder means more valuable. Build suspense. Condition matters. Here's where most people make a mistake. They look at a coin and think, it's old, so it must be valuable. That's not how it works. Condition is everything. A worn-out 1982 quarter? Still 25 cents. But a high-grade, almost perfect one? Now we're talking serious interest from collectors. Curiosity Loop 3, hidden value. And here's the twist most people miss. Because there were no official mint sets, the best quality coins came from circulation. Think about that. So if one somehow survived in near-perfect condition, that's rare. Very rare. And collectors notice. Emotional trigger, regret. Imagine this. You're at a store. You get change back. You don't even look. You drop it in your car, or your drawer, or maybe hand it to someone else. And that coin, the one you didn't check, could have been worth 50, 100, even more depending on condition. That's how easy it is to miss. Curiosity Loop 4, mint marks. Now let's go deeper. Look near Washington's neck. You'll see a small letter, or no letter for Philadelphia. But here's the catch. Some collectors pay more for specific mint marks, especially in higher grades. And if you're not checking that tiny detail, you could overlook something important. Pause for a second. If you have a quarter nearby, go grab it. Seriously, take a look. Check the date. Check the mint mark. You don't need fancy tools, just your eyes. Because sometimes, that's enough to spot something unusual. Curiosity Loop 5, errors and mistakes. Now let's talk about something even more exciting. Errors. Sometimes the machines slip. And when that happens, you get a coin that's different from the rest. In 1982 quarters, collectors have found off-center strikes, weak details, unusual surfaces. These aren't mistakes to ignore. They're mistakes collectors hunt for. Because here's the truth. An error coin breaks them. And in the world of collecting, breaking the rules can mean breaking into higher value. Story, close call. A woman in Texas once found a strange-looking quarter. The design wasn't perfectly centered. She thought it was damaged, almost threw it away. But instead she kept it. Later, she had it checked. That damaged coin? It turned out to be an error. And it sold for far more than she expected. Emotional trigger, fear. Here's what most people do wrong. They assume. They assume it's not worth checking. They assume they'll look later. And that's how valuable coins disappear. Not because they're rare, but because no one pays attention. Curiosity Loop 6, silver confusion. Now, let me clear something up. Some people think older quarters are silver. That's true, but only before 1965. A 1982 quarter? Not silver. But here's the interesting part. Even without silver, it can still be valuable. That surprises a lot of people. Pattern interrupt, simple rule. Let me give you a simple rule. Don't judge a coin by its color. Judge it by its details. That's where the real story is hiding. Curiosity Loop 7, Grading Secret. Collectors use grading to measure condition. You might hear terms like mint state, MS65. These numbers matter. Can mean a big jump in price. And because 1982 quarters are hard to find in top condition, high grades become even more valuable. Build suspense. Final reveal coming. So now you're probably wondering, how much are we really talking about? Not just guesses, not just hype, real numbers. But before I tell you that, there's one more thing you need to understand. The biggest reason people miss valuable coins? They rush. They don't slow down. They don't look closely. And coins like this depend on small details. Tiny differences. They can go even higher. It all depends on what makes that coin different. Emotional payoff, excitement. Think about that. A coin you might ignore. Not thousands for most, but enough to make you stop and look twice. That's all it takes. Closing, strong loop back. So next time you get change, don't just toss it aside. Don't assume it's nothing. Because hidden value doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it sits quietly in your hand, waiting for you to notice. And the real question is, will you?